They had never sussed out where this chamber setup would be, and that information towards the late round finds the punish. This one, no real investment on in. Couple frenzies, they're hoping to deal some damage as Kath is in a bit of a precarious position, but she has time to escape.
This entire matchup just looks like, you know, Dignitas versus a Viper wall. Second round in a row where they don't even see any players and they're taking so much damage before the game even actually starts.
Yeah, that it is. And here's one of those trap setups up towards Heaven. Flash forward nade in that zone. And even another hunt. Kath charges forward. She is traded eventually, but it's a 4 versus 2. Wait a minute. Thea is fought back. Now B-side is open as long as this spike can get across. And it cannot. The river too deep to forward. It's Leah Panda for a triple. You have the mollies from Leah. If Dig stays slow, punishments can come.
First time, though, they're not going to be running into that screen. It's going to be set up all the way at B. And initially, nothing going to be there for now. The bodies will have to be on the line for the side of TSM. Look at these setups, though. Oh, my goodness. Guiding Light and a player on the left on the side of Donut with that rendezvous. That could have been absolutely disastrous, but that bird gets shot down and stops any sort of cataclysm for coming for Dig entirely.
But it was never an overcommitment, right? It was the only player that had a get out of jail free card, and it was your player with a flash. They had a great setup there if it had been activated, but also if it was a chance to get shut on down, they just teleport away. That's exactly what happens. Now, Dignitas, again, has his clock working against them. A minute left, and they lack B main control. If they decide to hit on towards that site, and these B main players can hold for pressure, that could be massive. The utility even providing further delay.
You know the timing too is just to wait for the poison cloud to go down, and they expect that push to come in. Everyone now is perfectly rotating on good timing as well. Sage Wall going to go down from Liana, so they have a little bit of control of CT, at least in terms of Dig pushing in, or TSM pushing in on that retake, excuse me, right after the fact. A little bit of a clearing going down now, and yeah, you're completely right, Mimi. The fact that these guys have control overall of B main is going to be so much harder for them. They're going to be maybe just constricted completely, breathless on this site, going to be running out of time and space to work with.
And now the Sage Wall works against you. Normally you'd want to push spawn in this situation. That's not an option.
Yep, and those paint shells are going to find a little bit of damage at least, yeah, from the backside. Players player getting hurt. The one on this side, though, Kath, the frenzy is going to be rolling in. It's going to be huge for TSM. They've given Thea a little bit of a chance on this backside, has a target range to work with and finds a few. Emily gets the spike all the way down to half. Thea now down to just 11 HP. Few attacks coming in. She's isolating these fights perfectly, but Donut is there. Is there enough time on the clock is the question. No, does enough to delay it all. TSM with a little bit of a blunder.
An option in towards B main. They Sage Wall off without knowing that main is clear. They send one sole player alone. Big mistakes are being made for TSM. Thankfully for them, Thea has a step up and wins things out with a 1 versus 4. If Emily had just stopped the first time she was defusing, they win that round. You can't know in the moment, but unfortunate for TSM to not be able to pull that off. The early round has been really good, and for the side of Dignitas, they don't tend to invest a lot to re-clear. Instead, they just invest in towards his pace. Stephanie's up towards Heaven fast, but she has the lesser gun, and she doesn't have a chance.
Everything's set up for Emily to go down, and Dignitas to be relatively unscathed, but she finds the pick. Paranoia also saved, I believe, from the side of TSM. So rolling into this, it's nice that they kind of tempered their aggression overall. I like the fact that we used the spy cam to get that entire trademark down as well. Some good pressure. Not sure if Vents is the option or top ramp for the side of Dignitas on the push. So a lot will have to be cleared from TSM on the retake. Thea, though, making a little bit of noise. So there is a little bit of a nuance of where she is entirely. She was the big difference maker in the previous round. From this angle, she'll be the first point of contact and does land the shot onto Athena. That's a Paranoia not used. That smoke's completely down. It's huge for Dig.
They're going for it, though. Showstopper, and it connects for a double. Kath massive in that regard, but now Rain has to fight forward. This spike is under the control of the defense, and the nade, it'll trade her out a 1 versus 1 now. Kath needs to find this.
As the timing has a little bit of influence, but Thea sees through all of that, cuts through the dark, finds the pick, and once again, a little bit, those sheriffs will end up just taking apart heads. This time, Athena's going to be there for that B take, but no one's there to really work off of the Paranoia, work off of any of the smokes. The advantage goes to Dig.
That it does. Thea, she's responsible for dealing with this aggressions. Cuts out Leah. Does she know about Emily? That's the question. First fight is won. How is this happening? The pistols have found 2, and Donut is going for more. Just a classic. She's making it work, but not for too much longer. Now Emily alone. She's already been spotted. It's the pistol duel, but Sholiana just styles on her. You don't have to revive as long as they don't die before the end. They'll keep the gun regardless.
Wanted to save the clock entirely. Smart, smart. Soda Nut though, that guiding light used for just information. No one really acting on top of it. 0 point coming down too, so that's exactly what they were setting up. Just making sure she can't rendezvous away or have any funny business whatsoever.
Ooh, Seekers are used. They want to fight past this wall, and Emily has done so. One is paranoid, and Emily goes massive. 3 not quite shut down, and there's a resurrection. Sholiana goes for it, a big commitment, but no punish. TSM not swinging forward off of it, so a 4v3, and Thea in the position to change this round.
All they have to do is just wait on a pick. Both teams are waiting on both Thea and Dodonut to find one. Kath being a little bit of the bait. See Dodonut maybe hang on the top side of that rod, being the hook, being the line and the sinker. Nothing even stopping at 0 point from activating the whole way through. Quarter Force will be down for the moment. Thea though has snuck by and finds another pick. Can she get one more? Active with the cam right under is exactly where you need to look, but it's just about dropping down that pressure. So much time wasted at dealing with this that the rest of Dig is already towards B.
Yeah, and look, here's Athena in a big position. The Omen has a paranoia. She can go for this first fight, tuck in paranoia and punish off of that. The rotations are late, and Athena's already found one. There's the paranoia on in. Spike is on the floor, and the time is not long enough to even allow this to be a possibility. Athena can shut it down now. 8 seconds. Where's the spike plant? Emily's trying to commit to it, but towards heaven. Shut down is Thea. Well, the plant comes through. The round, not so much.
Might have an advantage on timing. Might waste a little bit of TSM's entirely as well. But when you have Athena in the right place at the right time, when you have one player influencing around like that, there's nothing much that they can do. Catch and throw happening, one team going for a util type play, saying something, the other team reacting to it. I feel like with this matchup, Dig against TSM, it's a lot of throw over and over again. Both teams baseball mitt completely off, unless you guys play baseball completely differently. And they're just throwing over and over again. No one actually understanding what the other team wants to do. They're just trying to make something stick on the wall.
Yeah, that they are. At least according to my sports knowledge. I don't know if baseballs tend to stick to walls. So that one's a little bit tough, but Stephanie, she's going to be stuck in towards the ground. TSM disrespect the cage, swing through by 2, and now Dignitas in a bit of a tough spot. Bird to re-clear in towards the vents. That's massive to find information. It means that TSM can be comfortable in holding towards this mid-round. And what I love about them is how they're using these Omen smokes in the mid-round. Early on, it was over towards B main. They conditioned that an Omen smoke there means presence. There was no presence. Instead, it was a heavy mid play. And now again, Omen utility saved. Paranoia, Nade follows it up. Blast packs forward, and Kath actually in trouble. Athena sticks around for longer than she was welcome, and now Kath is zoned out of this one. B-side is open unless Dodonut can do something big, and she's immediately denied.
Instead of just trying to fight for the space and maybe work around the time, they overheat a little bit on the side of TSM and try to get a little bit more off than they can chew. Now Dodonut, yes, absolutely down without a pick. Unfortunate 3v3. Should have just been a 5v situation on the retake. Weak though on all sides. Emily finally down. Now guiding like to be there as well to turn this 3v3 into a 3v1, and afterwards one little trade will have Leah Panda roll in and have TSM get towards round 11.
That they do. It was a lesser buy for Dignitas, so it's good on them to get the plant on through, and it was good on them to finally...
All these breakdowns.
It's broke, but if you can get yourself that showstopper up, it can become very, very woke. Never mind. Showstopper not an opportunity in this round. Dodonut's op finds teeth.
Those going to be stopped for now. A little bit of info gained though across all sides from the 0 point on Elite. All TSM has to do is just wait. They understand the mistake last round as well. It was against Rifle, so maybe you can't get aggressive fight for that space. Dodonut's there. No rendezvous available. Can just awkwardly back off on the top of rafters. Main's going to be there with the space, walking on top of the fragment. Okay. Yeah, you have the off timing, but you also only have a ghost. And like a ghost, absolutely exercised. No chance of a shot there, my friend. And after that, Emily, yeah, really good timing for Dig overall, but they just don't have the firepower to really have a say in this round.
She plays a very tough job in probably making some of these IGL decisions. If we get an interview with them, that's something I do want to ask, because we have seen maps where Athena does the mid-rounding, so maybe that role has been swapped off. But regardless of all that, she's adding ideas to the equation, and she's adding frags to the board. So many of these plays are set up around the combination between her and Athena on the Raze and the Omen, and it's been super potent in the mid-round on this defense.
People who are actually an operating factor on the side of that play too are huge, but this time Dig wants to break the order of operations, wants to have a say of their own, maybe set the pace for one of the pushes here all the way on towards the A site. Desperation possibly as well, because it is a little bit unorganized. That's due to the guiding light. Dodo also finds a little way, a few shots with that op, and also stopping Rain on her own spray. This is huge from Dota, not finding this much value. Headhunter back sight is the angle she's looking for. Gives the information over to Kat. Sholiana taking a lot of damage. Can't even find the spray. She's rattled up completely now, all the way up to Thea. Knows exactly where the Omen's going to be coming from. Athena not denied. Just play for info. This is going to be just a little bit of a play with your food situation as well. 3 players on all sides. 1 elbow. 1 all the way forward. All right, just towards that drop. Trap wire hit barely even broke, and they're just goading her back and forth. This is going to be tough. It's going to be map point as well. Athena will be able to get that one down. Huge from the side of TSM.